bunch of primitive savages who do not know how to abide by law? No. The Israeli municipality of Jerusalem approves less than 3% of Palestinian requests to build homes on their land in Jerusalem. In the year 2018, the Israeli Committee Against Home Demolition monitored nearly 400 applications to build homes, submitted by Palestinians in Jerusalem. Out of the 400 requests, 18 were approved. Let's say you're one of the 382 people whose request was denied. You go through that process of application because you are desperate for a room, desperate for a house. And then you get rejected. What do? You have your family's land, you have the cash, so you can buy construction material. And you go on and you build the house knowing that you will receive a demolition order. Why? Because you're an experienced survivor. You know how it works. So you build the house, you get a demolition order. What do? You hire an Israeli lawyer to represent you in an Israeli court in front of an Israeli judge to challenge an Israeli decision. Are you stupid? But still you do it. Why do you do it? Because they will approve your right to live on your family's land? No. You do it because as long as the court is going on, you're allowed to stay in your house. So the job of your lawyer is to prolong the process, and that's it. Eventually, the decision is approved by the court. They send you a notice to tell you when they will destroy your house. It's very civilized, And then if you don't destroy your house, they will come to you at 5 in the morning one day, knock on your door, give you full 30 minutes to remove yourself, your family, your belongings from the house, and they let you watch your house being destroyed. And then they issue you a receipt. It's an average of $35,000 that you have to pay for the service. So in Jerusalem, you have to pay for the destruction of your house. This is why, if you look at home demolitions in Jerusalem, you see many Palestinians destroying their homes by themselves. So they don't want to pay for the service. 48,000 homes were destroyed for Palestinians in the West Bank, and that destruction happens for free. In Gaza, the houses are bombed out of existence, and the federal government pays for it. So in Gaza, America pays for it. In Jerusalem, you pay for it. In the West Bank, it's done for free. Okay? But home demolition is one of those 9 policies I mentioned earlier. Now, there is a regulation that Palestinians or permanent residents of Jerusalem have to be aware of. If they lived outside those black boundaries for longer than 3 years, the State of Israel will decide that Jerusalem is no longer the center of their life, and they will revoke the permanent residency card of those Palestinians. It doesn't matter if you lived as far as Bethlehem or as far as New Jersey, outside those boundaries. Now, if you're born to a Jewish family and you spend 2 weeks in Jerusalem every 10 years, Jerusalem is still the center of your life. If you're a Palestinian who lives outside, for university, for work, for whatever, lived outside those boundaries for 3 years, Jerusalem is no longer the center of your life. And they will prevent you from going back home. Why? Because they have the power to do that. The third set of rules is the most complicated one. It's applied on 5,500 square kilometers of the land of Palestine. It's a territory called the West Bank of the River Jordan. That term was coined by the Jordanian government back in 1949. But by the way, I'd like to remind people that between 1949 and 1967, Palestine had a 3-state solution. Israeli government on 78% of Palestine, Jordanian government on nearly 18% of Palestine, and Egyptian government on nearly 4% of Palestine. the occupied West Bank, we have 3.3 million Palestinians, and we have nearly 800,000 Jewish Israelis. Jewish Israelis live under Israeli civil law. Palestinians live under Israeli military law. Israeli military law is made of more than 1,600 military orders. If you break any of them at the age of 14, you'll be arrested, you'll be sent to a military court, you'll be sentenced by a military judge, you'll be thrown in jail. That process happened more than 1 million times since 1967. The Israeli military law is like, Israeli military law is like the most complicated of all those laws, because 1,600 plus military orders create this kind of a puzzle where you as a Palestinian have to always be on your toes because you do not know what kind of crimes you are committing. Sometimes like people are committing crimes simply by walking, you know? Everything above the land, below the land, you know, is controlled by the Israeli military rule. Now in the past 50 plus years, the Israeli military succeeded in stealing nearly 1/3 of the property of the residents of the West Bank. Like there is an Israeli organization called Kerem Navot found out that nearly 1/3 of the property stolen from Palestinian families is declared closed military zones. The Israeli army needs to use it for 1 day every 3 months on average. So declaring your family property to be closed military zone is not to allow the Israeli army to use it for 4 days a year, but to prevent you and your family from using it for 365 days a year.